was a woman of faith. You all may or may not have known Grandma. Grandma was a woman of faith. She studied the word. She was in Sunday school. She was a youth director. She was active in her church. Not only was she active inside the church, she was active outside the church. She was active in her community. She was a poll worker, and she worked to get people registered to vote, because she didn't just care about the things of God. She also cared about people outside of the church having access to justice. Yeah. But Grandma's faith is also seen in her daughter, Lady Sharon. Everybody knows Jeffrey Johnson Sr. Everybody knows the man who's the pastor of one of the largest churches in the country. Everybody knows the man who is author of almost a dozen books. Everybody knows the man who is mentor and guide to some of the most brilliant minds in this country. Everybody knows Jeffrey Johnson Sr. Everybody knows how he walks with confidence in the gospel. Everybody knows how he preaches with authority and confidence. Everybody knows how he walked into Eastern Star. He grew it, multiple campuses, thousands of people, building houses, buildings, doing great things for the city of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana. Everybody knows Jeffrey Johnson Sr. But who was the one in the background binding up his wound? Who was the one in the background interceding when arrows and darts came his way? Who was the one in the background praying over his vision and encouraging him when he doubted himself? Who was the one in the background raising black boys to be strong black men and modeling Christian marriage? Who was the one who modeled faith? Lady Sharon. So Pastor Jay, you don't walk into this thing a novice. You don't walk into this thing an amateur. You walk into this thing in a lineage of holy people, knowing holy things, walking with a holy God and trusting in God's word. You have what it takes to survive and succeed in this season. Paul tries to remind Timothy, you have what it takes. You were born into a lineage of faith-filled people. But just because you're born into a lineage of faith-filled people does not mean that you're exempted from struggle or trouble. It does not mean that you're exempted from arrows and darts. It does not mean that you are exempted from the struggles and troubles that come from leadership. It's like I am reminded of your sincere faith. But I remind you to rekindle the gift of God that is within you. For God did not give us a spirit of cowardice, but rather a spirit of power and of love and of self-discipline. You may have been born into a lineage of faith. You may have experience with God. You may have a strong foundation with God, but you will still encounter situations where you will need to rekindle the gift that is in you. Now, when Paul says this to Timothy, we ought not assume that Timothy has lost his fire. We ought not assume that Timothy's passion for God or passion for ministry has waned. But what Paul wants Timothy to do is, the Bible says, fan the flame, stir up the gift. Every now and then you want to add wood to the fire. You want to add fuel to the fire. Even when you feel like your of the gift that is in you. Yeah. In other words, Timothy, you already have stuff in you. Right. Even if folks can't see it, don't understand it, resist it, reject it, stir up, rekindle the gift that is in you. And remember, it's because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. Back in 2018, we were mesmerized by the vibranium-rich land of Wakanda. Yeah. And we all wanted to move to Wakanda. We didn't know how to get there. We didn't know if we could afford it. But we all wanted to live in Wakanda. We wanted to dress like the Wakandans. We wanted to vibe like the Wakandans. We wanted freedom like the Wakandans. Most of us just wanted to chop. Wakanda had a prince, a debonair visionary, a prince who was a hero to the people. And at the time, for him to rise and take his place to the throne, there was a contender. There was a contender who felt that he too should have an opportunity to get to the throne. And so while T'Challa was the rightful heir, there was a contender for his seat. And that contender challenged T'Challa to a duel. T'Challa battled his contender. His contender was getting the best of him. His contender was winning. His contender showed his brawn, showed his strength, showed his might. And out of the background, his mama said, "Show them who you are." Yeah, girl. Yes, you're getting beat up, but show them who you are. Yes, it looks like you're winning, you're losing, but show them who you are. Yes, you're getting hit on every side, but show them who you are. What? Stir up the gift that's inside of you. Show them who you are. Your Father has not given you a spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. Show them who you are. Paul shows up on the scene and tells Timothy, show them who you are. They might reject you, they might deny you, they might lay traps for you, but show them who you are. Show them who God called. Show them who God sent. Show them who God anointed. Show them who God loved. Show them who God trusts. Show them who God assigned. Show them who you are. Start the gift. Rekindle the flame. That is in you. For God has not given us a spirit of cowardice, but a power, love, and sound mind. NRSV says self-discipline. I say this, go to my seat. How do you survive and succeed in this season? Paul says, God has given us the spirit of power. But the spirit of power that God gives us is not the same kind of power that the world uses. It's a different kind of power. It's an upside down, inside out power. It's a last shall be first, first shall be last kind of power. It's a I didn't come to be served, but to serve kind of power. And the power that comes from God and through Jesus Christ, my the kind of upside down, inside out kind of power.
Yeah.
Not the power that lords over people, but the kind of power that fights for justice and pursues righteousness and looks for the well-being of all, that pursues the well-being of the marginalized and oppressed, who pursues those on the edges and pull them into the center. God has given us power. The Greek is dunamis, the kind of power that breaks up and shakes up and destroys that which ought not exist and replaces it with something new. God has given us a spirit of power, but not the world's kind of power, holy power. Upside down, inside out. The last shall be first, first shall be last kind of power. Shame on the church who thinks that power is vested in title and position. Beware of the leader, the pastor, who believes that power is vested in title and position. Real power is found in your relationship with God, on your knees in prayer, interceding and believing that God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that you can ask, think, or imagine. Shame on us who think that power dwells in longevity and tenure. I walked into a church that's 156 years old. And the reality is, some of the people in Light of the World Christian Church have been members longer than I have been alive. But power does not rest